Welcome to the Jay Graves Report, College Football Weekly Wrap-Up, Week 6. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Wrapping up the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Let's go down to the ACC. Number 25, Maryland, goes to Doak Campbell to play number 8, Florida State. I got 2 words for you, bruh. Famous Jameis. This done went out there and went to work on these boys. Famous Jameis put up 393 yards and 5 touchdowns in 3 quarters, bruh. They beat these Ducks 63-0. Why? Because they came in there false flagging, dressed up like the Parliament Funkadelic. You cannot show up in the ghetto false flagging. You can't show up at somebody else's stadium false flagging. That's why these boys got the worst beating of any top 25 team in the history of college football. Because these boys came through the neighborhood false flagging. Let's move on to the next ball game. Number 10, LSU goes to Starkville to play the Mississippi State Cowbells. Now, for 3 quarters, LSU let these boys hang around, just playing with them, just toying with them. Then all of a sudden, LSU goes on a 31-0 run, scores 4 touchdowns in the 4th quarter on these boys. Zach Mettenberger shows up, puts up 342 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jeremy Hill goes for 157 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. And then big hand Odell Beckham goes for 179 yards on 9 catches and 2 touchdowns. I told you on Thursday, you can take all the teams in Mississippi. You can take Ole Miss, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley State, Jackson State, and Doug Tougaloo. You can put them all on the field at the same time, and they weren't going to beat LSU. LSU is the real deal right now because these boys are rolling in the air and on the ground. Let's move on to the next ball game. Number 22, Arizona State shows up in Dallas in Big D to play Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame is having this traveling Shamrock series, etc. They playing home games on the road because they Notre Dame. They got the bread to do that. Now, these boys came out there, beat Arizona State 37-34, which I didn't think they would be able to do, but they showed up looking sweet the last night. The uniforms they had on with the gold helmets, with the little clover on the side, with the green joint on the side, the green face mask. They even had on the green shoes, bruh. Notre Dame showed up looking like the real deal last night because the uniforms was off the chain. Now, what I'm upset about is the Leprechaun. The Leprechaun disobeyed my orders, jumped off of the Dick Gregory, and showed up in Dallas. Now, if that boy have a stroke, it ain't going to be my fault. He going to have to sign the waiver. Next week, if he shows up at the USC game and he still ain't got back on the Dick Gregory, I'm off of it. I'm trying to save him. I'm trying to help him out. Let's move on to the next ball game. Let's go down to number 4, Ohio State goes to Evanston and play number 16, Northwestern. Now, Northwestern hang around this game, had these boys losing going into the 4th quarter. They were beating Ohio State 23-20. But like I said before, the only way that Northwestern will win this ball game is if they confused them and they had them doing a chemistry test, a math test, a geometry test, some type of academic. Because you got to understand, these boys from Ohio State getting a state-funded education. So they ain't as bright as the boys over at Northwestern. So Northwestern came in there, every time they tackle a boy, they'll say, hey man, what's mass time acceleration equal force? Hey, what's A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Those from Ohio State was confused. They didn't know what to do. Urban Meyer finally told them it's a football game. Next thing you know, they put up 20 points in the 4th quarter, beat these Ducks 40-30, stopped by Harold Chicken on the way to the crib, and went on back to Columbus. Let's move on to the next ball game. Number 15, Washington goes to number 5, Stanford, plays in Palo Alto. Washington put up crazy numbers on offense, had 479 total yards on offense. These boys from Stanford only had 200 and 79 yards. But Ty Montgomery was the real deal. Took the opening kickoff back 99 yards. He had 209 yards in kick returns all night. And he had 290 yards all-purpose yards. Hadn't been for Ty Montgomery, these boys would have lost that ball game. But what I'm still trying to understand is, who is the Dunn in the tree costume? What is that, bro? How do you have a costume made up like a tree and you talk some Dunn into getting into it? How you going to explain that to Big Mama? Let's move on. Now, go to the joint, check the boy out. It's your man Jay Graves from the JayGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport, and you can holler at your boy.